Hi, everybody. I wanted to hop on here and just reiterate some of the things that Coach Karen mentioned in our nutrition workshop today, which I think was awesome. I just want to kind of simplify things down to what you guys need to pay attention to for the next steps. And also, anybody who wasn't there in person, this will be really good for you to listen to too. Okay. So I'm going to start by introducing this habit tracker on the right side of the screen for all of our challenges and for our one-on-one nutrition coaching. We always have a habit tracker, okay? It's a great tool to use so that you can reflect on your habit execution, which is really where most of your focus and your energy should be if you are on this journey to make some changes in 2025, okay? Whether you've got weight loss goals, building muscle goals, performance goals in the gym, just want to feel better from day to day and enjoy your days more and your hobbies more, this is going to be relevant to you. Okay. So as you can see here, we've got all 6 of our healthy habits from top to bottom. Each habit, when we do a challenge, we assign points for consistency with executing. So each habit earns you a point if you meet your weekly requirement for that habit. Now, to know what your weekly requirement is, remember in our workshop, we had you guys write down. Let me scroll here. We had you guys write down after going through all 6 of the habits and making calculations for ourselves. We summed it up in these 6 calculations, you can call them. So knowing how many ounces of water I will drink daily, that's number 1. Knowing how many grams of protein I will eat daily, that's number 2. All of these things, putting my days of exercise, my minimum requirement down there, putting how many steps I'm going to shoot for at first. Okay. That's really, really important because it's going to be different for everybody. What gets me a point for my hydration on Monday is going to be different from what gets someone else their point, right? So screenshot this habit tracker, okay? Save it in your photo album on your phone. And then what you can do, if it works for you to do it digitally, you can just keep it in that photo album, use the edit tab and the marker feature, the marker tool, to just go and check off each day, put a little slash mark on each day when you're done with your day and you're just reflecting on which habits you successfully hit. You can track it like that, or at the end of the week, maybe you can play a little game with yourself. If I get 6 out of 6 points for 4 weeks in a row, I'm going to buy myself something special, right? I'm going to buy myself a new pair of Lululemon leggings, or I'm going to buy myself that tool that I've always wanted or something like that, right? I'm going to go on a really nice date night and have a really nice meal with my spouse or my partner. Something like that to keep you motivated is always good. The challenge is nice because there's like a prize at the end, so that keeps people going. So if you need that extra little push, that like carrot at the end of the stick, that's what you're going to want to do with this habit tracker, okay? Then the next thing I want to go over is are these grocery cheat sheets that we've got here, okay? So we send these out every challenge just so that people can use it to build their grocery lists. But you'll notice that it is sorted into this green, yellow, and red zones, right? So green light foods, I like to call them, you can eat as many of those as you want. They are healthy for you. They're going to be conducive toward a healthy, well-balanced diet. And it's sorted into protein. This is our protein sheet. The next one I'll show you will be carbohydrate sources. And then the third one will be fat sources. Okay. So again, if you want to screenshot this so you can zoom in and use it to make your grocery list, the eat more category, you've got free range of all of these healthy sources of protein. And I know that's a big question for most people when they start off here. They are like, I know I need this much protein, but I just don't know where to get it. Or I feel like I'm only eating chicken or something like that. Spread yourself out, widen your horizons or broaden your horizons and see that it doesn't just have to be chicken. Okay. Next category, yellow category, is like, let's eat these things in moderation. Let's eat some of these things, but let's have the majority be from the green zone, right? So we eat some of these things, which are just a little bit more processed, right? They come with some more ingredients, maybe some more chemicals. Obviously, you can see that protein powders are in this category. Many people do have a protein powder shake per day so that they can reach that goal of hitting their protein each day. But whenever possible, we do want to try unprocessed whole food sources. Is it going to be 100% that? Probably not for most people because it takes a lot of time to meal prep only unprocessed food. So we use these things that are slightly more processed just to help us out with our busy schedules, right? Protein powder is a big one for a lot of people. As long as you find one that agrees with your digestive system, not one that makes you feel bloated and icky and gassy, that's no good. You got to try another brand or another recipe, okay? And then in the red zone, we've got our eat less, which are highly processed meats. You'll see that protein bars are in this section. Not all protein bars are made equal. I would expect you to want to eat less of those types of protein bars that are like really high in sugar or have a lot of sugar alcohols, especially if you are sensitive to sugar alcohols. That's the stuff that makes it sweet, but with lower calories, right? It's just very processed stuff. So we want to try and minimize those things and as well as highly processed meat, right? So we have carbs, same thing, sorted into eat more, eat some, eat less. Make sure you screenshot that and zoom in so you can have some nice, healthy carbohydrate sources. Carbs are important because they give you energy. And if you're doing CrossFit, you need energy, okay? There are a lot of people who come to CrossFit, maybe trying to do like a keto diet or a very low carb diet. And it doesn't give you the energy you need in most circumstances to really push the intensity in your workouts and get the most benefit out of your workouts. So you'll notice here that in the eat less column, when we think of carbohydrates, we probably think of things that are in this red column, right? Highly processed, very high in sugar, things that really don't bring much benefit to them. But in the green column and some of the foods in the yellow column, we're getting vitamins and minerals, we're getting some fiber. There's more bang for your buck in these sources of carbohydrates, right? These ones, it's like purely sugar on the red zone, okay? Not to say that you can never have a donut again, right? That goes against everything that we stand for to view these foods as bad and like off limits. We just want to try and eat them in moderation, right? When we really, really think we're going to enjoy that donut and savor it, that's when we can go for the donut, right? If we're just having a donut just because and we know it's going to make us feel like crap, might not be the best decision at the time. That's all. And then fats, same thing, green zone, yellow zone, red zone. You'll notice that again, it's basically sorting into minimally processed sources of fats. And all the way to the right, we're going with like the most processed sources of fat. Okay. So you'll notice that a lot of these in the red zone, it's like seed oils and stuff that they use in restaurants often because they're very cost effective. They have high heat index, right? So they can cook at a really high temperature. On the left-hand side, lots of healthy, again, minimally processed whole food sources of fats. Again, I said we need carbs for energy. We also need fats for energy, okay? Carbs will give you like a quick shot of energy, like, oof, they'll wake you up fast because that glucose goes right into your bloodstream quickly. Fats give you energy, but it's a little bit more of a slow burn. So if I need energy over the next like 3 or 4 hours, that's where healthy fats come in, okay? They also matter a lot for your hormone health, okay? If our diet does not include any fats in it, that's not going to be good for our testosterone, for our estrogen levels, and everything in between, okay? We want to have healthy hormones. That will dictate so much more of our joy in life, having healthy hormones. So we need to pay attention to healthy fats as well. Okay, so just wanted to go over those really quick. Let me see, is there anything else? I had a couple notes about some questions that came up in the middle at the end of the presentation. One was regarding cravings, right? Adam had a great question about cravings. Man, at the end of the day, I just feel this pang of hunger and it's just like I need something crunchy or salty or this or that. So my view on cravings, and I think the discussion that followed after this did cover most of what I'm going to say, but my stance on cravings is that they always come for a reason, right? You're not getting a craving because you're a bad person. You're not getting a craving because you don't have any self-discipline. You're getting a craving probably because something is missing in your other habits. So when you are laying there at night and you're like, oh my gosh, I could really just go for some, I don't know, chips and salsa or something like that, something salty and crunchy. Um, Let me go through like all the reasons I could be craving this thing. Well, let's see. Am I tired right now? Yeah, I'm laying in bed. Well, that could be something. My body might be like confused because it's tired and trying to tell me like, oh, let's get some energy, right? Let's eat this thing. It's going to give us some energy. That could be one thing. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I'm thirsty, right? Maybe I didn't hit my hydration goals for the day, or maybe I had a really, really long, sweaty workout. I probably need a little bit more water, right? So that could be a go-to thing. If I have my cravings, I'm going to drink a glass of water and wait 10 to 15 minutes and see if that helps at all. Okay. The other thing is cravings are very strongly affected by what you ate during the rest of your day, right? Let's say maybe throughout the day I was low on my protein, right? And I don't have that sense of satisfaction or satiety, fullness in my stomach. Maybe I'm lacking a little bit on the protein front. Maybe I just didn't eat enough all day at all, right? Maybe I'm just genuinely lacking calories. That could also be something. If you're very active, if you're working out hard and you're having cravings late at night, it might be because you're not spacing out your calories earlier in the day or having enough calories earlier in the day. So I just wanted to point that out about cravings. I think the mindset shift around cravings, if you can recognize and really like absorb the fact that you are not a bad person if you have cravings for sweets or salty things, there is a reason for the craving, right? And it can be addressed so that your cravings become less frequent and less strong. Okay, so pay attention to your other habits, make sure those are in check. And then if the craving does come along, if you try drinking some water, if you set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes and you need something to satisfy the craving, have something in moderation, right? Doesn't have to be something huge that that really sets you off course for the rest of your night or week. Okay. Now, last thing. I really liked at the end of the workshop how we had a great discussion of, especially from people who have done challenges with us before and nutrition coaching with us before, the stepwise progression of not just going from 0 to 100, right? When you adopt a new habit, and Karen did a great job explaining this, let's say you're adopting the habit of increasing your physical activity. And how we measure physical activity is by how many steps you're taking throughout the day. So if someone starts their week where they're just getting some awareness about how many steps they take per day on average throughout the week, and if they're discovering that they're only taking like 2,000 or 3,000 steps per day, then are we going to tell them to take 10,000 steps a day? No, because that's going to set them up for failure. That's not a fair thing to do. I know they might be motivated and they might say, no, it's 2025. I'm going to start taking 10,000 steps per day every single day. That's okay. And sometimes people have to do that, like really, really intense, like reversal of habits. But a lot of times, if that is the approach, it will end up being really overwhelming and not sustainable. So the big theme for all of our habits is sustainability. Am I going to be able to do this habit for the rest of my life? That's how you should look at all these habits. Can I do this for the rest of my life? If the answer is no, then we probably need to adjust things, right? For example, for the person who discovers, oh, I'm taking 2,000 to 3,000 steps on average every day. We're going to start you off by trying to hit just 5,000, right? The benefits from going from 2 to 3,000 to 5,000 are very significant. So if you can do that, you're doubling the amount of physical activity you're getting every single day. That's a huge improvement. Okay. Start there, master that habit, do it for at least 2 weeks in a row before you move on to the next step. From 5,000, maybe you go up to 6,000, maybe you go up to 7,000, all the way up until 8,500 steps per day on average. That would be a great goal. If you want to keep going to 10,000 after that, you absolutely can, but it's not necessary for everybody. And even though there's a small increase in the health benefits, if you go from 8,500 to 10,000, it's not as significant as going from 2,000 to 5,000. Okay, so that's really where you're going to get the most benefit. All right, step by step. Same thing with protein intake, right? If you're eating 60 grams of protein approximately per day, that's only like, 2 palms. Not enough. Am I going to tell you to eat 1 gram per pound of body weight? Oh my gosh. Not only is it going to be hard for you to make that adjustment because your meals will be completely different than what you're used to. It'll just be like, again, a total 360. But your body is going to like go on strike. If suddenly it has to digest like at least double the amount of protein that it's used to, it does not feel good. It's a lot of bloating. It's a lot of fullness, uncomfortable, gassy. It takes a lot for your body to digest protein. That's why the thermic effect of protein is so much higher than carbohydrates and fats, because it really takes a lot of energy to digest protein. So what do? Okay, well, we're starting at 60-ish grams of protein per day. Like Karen said, for women, 1 palm per meal is a great place to start. For guys, 2 palms per meal is a great place to start. Okay. And then after we master that habit, we can increase to trying to hit that 1 gram per pound of body weight. Okay. That 1 gram per pound of body weight might be too much for us, right? It might be a good thing to shoot for, but let's say I weigh 200 pounds, okay? And so therefore my pie in the sky ultimate protein goal would be 200 grams of protein per day, right? 1 gram per pound of body weight. That might be hard for me to get 200 consistently. And I might find that I feel my best, maybe somewhere around like 150 for now, right? Maybe 175 on certain days, okay? That's okay. I'm going to go stepwise with it because I've already gone from 60 to 100 to 125 to 150. That's a huge improvement with my protein intake, right? And if 200 isn't in the cards for me right now, that's okay. But it's all about these stepwise progressions. And that's how you make lasting change, right? You are very gentle with yourself. You are very patient with yourself, and you know that this is for the long haul, right? It's not just a quick fix where one day to the next I'm a totally different person. It's going to be a development over time, okay? And the last thing I want to go over is in relation to that development over time is the idea that you do almost need to adopt a new identity so that these habits can feel very congruent with who you are as a person. If it feels like you're fighting to execute these habits, we probably need to look at the habits, right? We need to look at them and adjust them to make sure they jive with you and your lifestyle, right? Because if they're not, it's not going to last, and then we're just going to get discouraged, right? And we don't want that. We want to keep this motivation. We want to keep this aura of resilience and positivity around the process, because when we start to feel like frustrated, angry, all of those types of emotions, it just doesn't go well for us. Now, being healthy is an added stress when it should be something that makes your life so much better, right? So adopting a new identity and realizing this might be a step that is required from some of you, like really digesting the fact that, okay, here's my new identity. I am a fit, healthy person who prioritize the status of their health and their physical capability. I am someone who prioritizes meal prep. I am someone who blank, 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 fill in the blank, right? What type of person do you want to be? And then assume that identity. That's a trick from James Clear, Atomic Habits. Really, really good book. If you're serious about really dialing in habits, but you're just struggling with like the deeper mindset aspects of it, it's certainly something we can work on with one-on-one nutrition coaching. But I would read that book if you're looking for a good New Year's book to read. So that's all I had to say about the nutrition workshop today. I thought it was awesome. I was so glad I could call in and be there remotely. If that's all you came here for, then you can exit out of this video, but I'll tell you a little anecdote, just a story. So I'm around my parents a lot more lately because I'm up in New York, and we've been talking about their habits, and we've been talking about making some adjustments because they have some concerns about their diet and about their health and how they're feeling in their workouts and things like that. And so imagine your daughter comes and is suddenly like the physical therapist slash nutrition coach in your house. I have to like hold back on a lot of the things that I want to say, because I would never, with a client, I would never just blurt out everything that I think they should be doing, right? That's not an effective way to motivate someone along the chain of behavior change. So I'm just being very delicate with them, and we're just working on one habit at a time, right? So the other day at dinner, we talked about protein, and we reflected on how much protein they're currently getting with each meal. And for my dad, it was really eye-opening. And while back in the day, he was getting more protein at each meal, that habit has just kind of fallen off in terms of priority for him. But now, after reflecting, he's working on just that habit. And it was tempting because we talked about the protein and then all this stuff about snacks, crackers, cravings, all these things. Oh, I just need to cut all that out, don't I? Wait. Just focus on the protein. That stuff will probably sort itself out if we can get the protein under control, right? If we can hit our protein goal, then usually we'll feel fuller and more satisfied throughout the day. And we won't have to have that initial feeling of like restriction. These foods are bad. Don't touch them. Don't look at them. Don't even think about them, right? That's not really a helpful mindset when there is a lot to be addressed, one thing at a time, and we're going stepwise with it. So if that helps you, just a little anecdote about how I'm dealing with my immediate family and their healthy habit goals. Nobody's perfect. I'm certainly not perfect, but I am very thankful that I have a strong foundation of healthy habits to help me through this season of life. So I hope you guys are excited to make your own healthy habit foundation. And I'm always here. If you have any questions, you can shoot me an email. Coach Karen is available. Don't forget to schedule your InBody assessments in January, because they're buy one, get one free. You'll automatically get scheduled for your next 4-week follow-up scan for free when you schedule your first scan. $20 for a scan. If you want to sit down and talk about healthy habits and have a coaching session with Karen, that one's $50. Okay. But either way, you can book one of those and have your follow-up 4 weeks later. All right. I hope everybody's having a great start to their new year, and we are so excited to help you along the way. We'll talk to you soon.